Hi everyone, it's Joni again. You'll notice my hair is pretty fuzzy. There was no reason to fix it today because it was raining here. Today is my 50th, I guess that's 50, gastric bypass journey related video. So what I did was, it's also my 7-month surgiversary. So I had my surgery August the 1st. This is March the 1st. And since that time, I've actually filled up this little diary. It's not that hard to do because I write a lot. So I decided I wanted to do a 50 things theme for my 50th video. So you're gonna see me reading, and this is gonna probably be a little bit of a long video, but I think it's worth it. 50th video, 50 things. So I decided my 50 things would be 50 victories I've had since my gastric bypass. Some of them might seem to kind of mingle together a little, but I've done my best to do 50 things, and I probably could come up with more if I sat and tried. Number 1, I can reach all my 2,000 parts. That's very important, as you will learn. By the way, if you hear a bunch of noise in the background, my family is watching a movie in the other room. And also it's very windy here for some reason tonight, so just keep those things in mind. 2, I can fit into booths and chairs. And what I mean by this is, and if you've been big enough, you'll know, I'm gonna apparently play with my hair the whole video. You know, you get into a booth at a restaurant. For me in particular, the worst one was the Huddle House. And that's if you live, you know, in Virginia or whatever, South, I don't know where they all are, but you'll know about it. Their booths are fixed, so they sit exactly a certain way. You can't push the tables any. My stomach would be like, you know. And when I talk about fitting into chairs, I mean that 2 ways, but mostly I mean, like, you know, how it has chairs that have arms to it. You know, sometimes I couldn't fit in them at all. And sometimes, oh, excuse me, you know, if I got into them and shoved myself into them, then my, like, fat on my legs would be pushing out the sides. And, I mean, it could be uncomfortable to painful, depending on, you know, if I had to really wedge myself into the chair. 3, I can put my own shoes and socks on. This is a big thing for me. Somebody's been putting on my shoes and socks forever. It's just a great thing. It's just awesome to be able to put on your own shoes and your own socks without any medical adapting equipment. Number 4, I can get in and out of my tub without fear. Now, I know that sounds stupid to some people who are probably trucking along and don't have any problems getting in and out of their tub. But, I still am, but I was a really big girl at 412 pounds. And I had the worst balance in my life. Like, literally, if I was carrying my phone for some reason, just walking out of my house, it would set me off balance. I've never been that graceful, but I feared falling more, especially because I was bigger, because I knew it would be harder to get up and hurt more, and in some ways hurt more, you know. If you have more cushion, sometimes there's more cushion for the fall. And believe me, I've had enough of them. But I was always scared to death to get in and out of the tub. And it doesn't bother me at all now. And I don't have to have any help anymore. My husband used to stand by all the time. And a lot of things I find that my husband is still standing by, trying to help with and be there. Like, I'll be like, dude, why are you in the bathroom with me? And he'll be like, I'm just so used to waiting to help you. you know? And I'm like, dude, I'm gonna have to start shutting the bathroom door, because my master bedroom off the bathroom, you know, I'm just used to just going in so the cat can go in there to its litter box. I don't really fool with it much, you know, whatever. But, you know, like a normal person, I need to shut my door now. I can shave my own legs and everything else. I couldn't shave my legs for squat. I could get parts of my legs, but I couldn't get, like, say my lower legs, trying to go from my knee to my ankle and get them all the way around on both legs. First of all, just trying to do most of it was painful. And second of all, I couldn't do it. So my husband had to do a lot of leg shaving, and a lot of leg shaving did not get done. And as I've alluded to before, number 6, that should have been number 1 on the list. I can weight myself now. Number 7, I can buckle my seatbelt. Not only can I buckle my seatbelt, but I can buckle my seatbelt and not have to use an extender anymore in any vehicle. I can get up and down off the floor. Yes, I can get on the floor and then get back up. And I generally don't have to have anybody else's help to do it. Sometimes I might use a little assistance of whatever furniture's around, but even if not, I can manage to get up. I never could have done that before. Oh, Lord. I can stand long enough to brush my teeth. I couldn't even stand long enough to brush my teeth before. I don't know if you guys get that, but my back hurts so bad and my legs would start shaking and be ready to give out that I couldn't stand long enough to brush my own teeth. So think about that for a minute. You can't tell it as good today because I've been out since early morning. I had to go get a mammogram, and it's raining here, so I dried my hair mostly and brushed it, and it's pretty bushy, and most of whatever makeup I had is gone. But number 10 is I feel like putting makeup on and doing my hair again. And that's almost every day. Like anytime I'm going to go somewhere, sometimes when I'm not. And that used to be once in a very blue moon for me. Number 11, I'm getting out and doing more. Tonight, for instance, after I had my mammogram and then I went to the DMV with my daughter, I met up with my son off the mountain because we live on top of a mountain in a very rural area. I met my son off the mountain. We went and got some food at Applebee's. And I may have mentioned this before, but my doctor gave me a special card. Never been asked for it, but I just mentioned that I have it at any of the places I intend to use it. And basically, if they have a children's menu that has appropriate foods, not like mac and cheese or hot dog, but like Applebee's has a really small steak and some mashed potatoes. And that steak is usually plenty enough to fill me up. It's like 4 or 5 ounces. It's plenty enough to fill me up and still usually, have a little bit left over. But yeah, so went to Applebee's and I went to the movies with my son. And we saw Game Night. And it was a good movie. I highly recommend it. Go see it. Let's see. Number 12. I'm driving comfortably. Before, I could barely get my belly behind the steering wheel and my legs would be way out here. So it was like I had short legs and a big belly, and it was not pretty. But now I can get in and drive and do whatever I want to do. Number 13, I can stand in line. It used to be that I couldn't stand in line for anything. I would have to hold on to something. I would have to like lean on a counter. I mean, I couldn't stand in line. Now, generally speaking, as long as it isn't like an hour or like a half an hour, but like 10 minutes or so or more, I'm good standing in line. No more wheelchairs. Number 14. That's a big one. Like at my daughter's graduation, I was in a wheelchair. At my daughter's nursing school graduation a year later, I was in a wheelchair. When I went to my appointments for my gastric bypass doctor to begin with, I was in a wheelchair. But I'm not in a wheelchair anymore. I don't have to drag it around on vacations. I don't have to deal with any of that junk. And I'm all the better for it. The independence I've gained is amazing. 15, no more handicap tag. Yes, I had a handicap tag for over a year. Probably should have had it longer. Should have had it beforehand. But I had a handicap tag. It expired a month ago. And I don't see any reason to get it again. I mean, I leave that up to people that are having trouble breathing, that are having trouble walking, that can't do the things I can do. And if we have to park further away, I simply go, Lord, how blessed I am that I can walk this far now. Thank you. Number 16, I've lost over 100 pounds. Yes, by my 6-month mark, I think it was, I'd lost 100 pounds. My last weigh-in that I know of at the doctor's was 295. So I I'd lost 116 pounds. That was February 9th. Let's see. I went from a 5X to a 3X in shirts. And listen to this, folks. I'm talking about the pants that you zip and button, jeans. I went from a size 36 to a 24 in jeans. Number 19. Ironically, 19 is my favorite number. And it's just ironic based on what's listened here. And I try to put everything here in a family-friendly manner as much as possible. But I am perfectly willing to answer questions that anybody has about anything. I'm an open book, I promise. So if there's like a more personal question that you want to ask me, feel free, shoot me a message on Facebook. Joni McCoy, JoniMcCoy. You'll notice I look like me. I mean, shoot me a message on Facebook and I'll try to read it. Watch, like 10 years from now, I'll have like 50,000 followers and I'll get like messages a day. But I'm serious about this. I want to help other people. And as a nurse and as a person who is, I've always been very open and I'm completely comfortable discussing anything. If you want to talk to me about, digestion issues, if you want to talk about, marital relations, and I mean, I say marital, but, that's because I'm married. Number 19 is changes in ability to engage in marital relations. And I'm just going to leave it like that because, like I said, I want this part to be sort of family friendly. That's why you don't hear me curse or anything like that. But I'm able to engage in marital relations much differently with my husband than I was able to 116 pounds ago. And it's for the better. Much for the better. Number 20, much increase in happiness and decrease in depression. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. I mean, I know I've been sick a lot of videos lately. To begin with, I mean, I was happy because I was getting the surgery and stuff, but I don't know if you can tell. I mean, I haven't sat and watched all the videos looking for symptoms of depression and sadness, but I am a much happier person. 21, no more diabetes. Literally, is this lens like really dirty? Or is it my eyes that are blurry? Hold on, I'm going to get something. No, not that. Watch, I will have been talking to a dirty camera the whole time. Oh my Lord, maybe I was. Okay, well, if you're just tuning in, I just wiped off the lens. Now hopefully the camera won't fall. So no more diabetes. The night before I had my surgery, I was giving myself my scheduled Lantus insulin. I used to use the insulin pens. And I was getting ready to take out my insulin pen, my needle out of my stomach. And I said to my friend, and I think I might have mentioned this in another video, I was like, wait, come here. Because I was just saying to her, this might be my last insulin. And I said, hold on. What is this? Take a picture while this is in my stomach. This might be my last shot of insulin ever. And it was my last. What in the world is going on with the focus? Woohoo! Hello, focus. Oh, this is ugly. I think the camera's moving too much. It can't focus. Hello, focus. Okay, this is really gonna irritate me because I'm like, halfway through this video. Oh, good, there's focus. Well, now we're back. So, no more diabetes. It went away right away after my surgery, irrespective of the weight loss. And that's how it works. I have no more hypertension. My blood pressure is good. Sometimes it's even low. And I know this is going to maybe not sound like it makes sense, but number 23 is I can push my recliner in. That was actually, I made a list before I had surgery of goals I wanted to reach. And I had new furniture that every bit of it reclines, but I couldn't push the recliners in. I didn't have like leg muscles enough, and I didn't have core muscles enough because I was just big. Now, I mean, I literally used to have help pushing the recliner in and getting up from the recliner, and I just do it myself now. So that goes into number 4, which is I don't need help getting up from seats. Number 25, I have a newer, healthier attitude towards food. Abso-freaking-lutely. I'm not going to say I'm perfect. Y'all know I'm not. I have had my transgressions. I'm not a perfect person. I still have some today. But I'm doing my best to have a good, healthy relationship with food. I can backyard camp. So as long as I can run an extension cord out there, I can camp in my backyard, which I have a backyard that's different than most people because we live in the woods. So, my backyard is like going camping for real. The only difference is I have electricity because I have to run my CPAP, which I'll get to in a little bit. A better personal hygiene. And I'm not trying to say this to be ignorant, but it's kind of like this. When I was bigger, I couldn't reach to wipe myself. So during the day, if nobody was around, like my husband or my daughter, or during the night when my husband was asleep, and if all I had to do was pee, then I just hoped on the drip dry, and I smelled like pee a lot, I think. And because of depression, I was lucky to hop in the bath like every 3 or 4 days. I mean, that was a good week. And I'm not trying to say, oh, I was nasty, but if you've ever been depressed, if you've ever been that big, and you've been scared about getting in and out of a tub, you would understand. Especially when you're like, I'm not going anywhere. What difference does it make if I wear the same clothes for 3 days in a row? Not healthy things. If you're experiencing things like that, they're not healthy. Okay? Just want to throw that out there. You got to take care of yourself. But I do understand that it's difficult, and I'm willing to talk to you about it. I'm more physically active. Well, hoorah. Everybody knows that. I mean, I just spent the last couple of days helping my sister clean her house. Before that, I couldn't even, nothing. I could roll over in the bed, and sometimes, I needed help to get out of bed most of the time, or a lot of heave-ho moving around on my own part to get myself out of bed if nobody was here so I could pee. But I spent 99% of my time, if I wasn't at the doctor's or something, like in my house, in my bed, laying down on my stomach, because that was the position that hurt the least. I'm able to wear boots now. Now, granted, they are wide calf. When I went to try other ones on, they didn't actually even have regular calf in the kind that I wanted. But I got some a couple years ago off of a yard sale board, and they were pretty. I don't know how I thought I was going to walk on them, because they were heels. And they were like peg heels. And they were like double wide calves, extra wide, like extra wide. And I went to zip them up, and they came up mid-calf, and they wouldn't even zip up on me. And I cried over those boots because I loved them. Couldn't tell you where they ended up. Would be too huge for me now. And I will tell you that I can stick my whole hand down almost completely to my ankle in my boots. So I probably could wear regular boots. I can put my own clothes on. That's going to sound stupid. But I couldn't get my bra twisted around right, the way we women put our bra on. I couldn't reach behind me to take it off, and that had to do with like an injury to my C-spine that it just never would let me. Plus, I was too big. But the pressure off of the C-spine now, and everything, it's a big difference. I couldn't put on my own underwear and pants because I couldn't bend over right or lift my legs up right while holding what I needed to hold to get my legs in. I could get like one leg in, and then I would spend like 10 minutes getting the other one in if I was by myself. At least 10 minutes. It was ridiculous. But I can do it all now. Number 32. I can shop for clothes at a regular store like Walmart. I've been shopping the Woman Within catalog for a long time, because even the 5X's at Walmart were too small. They were usually too short for me, like the shirts. But, yeah, I had a lot of stuff that I was, had a lot of very expensive clothes that I never even wore hardly, because I never left my house. Number 33. Oh, I think I already mentioned this. I'm able to help clean now. I was just helping my sister clean. Number 34. The return of my balance. I can carry my own purse outside and something else in the other hand, I don't have to have somebody just carry my phone or my purse or whatever, because I was like, I don't even know why such a little thing would throw you off balance so much, but it did. I no longer feel, this is 35, so conspicuous in public. I swear this still looks blurry to me, but you know, maybe I look better blurry. And what I mean by conspicuous in public is, if you ever get to the point where every time you go out, you know you're the biggest person out. You look around you and you outweigh everybody in the restaurant or you know, you go to a kid's football game and you outweigh everybody there, and just different places. You know, you're in Walmart, your back hurts because you have back problems, and you're riding the motorized scooter, and then you're big and you look lazy because people don't know that you have a back problem that's completely unrelated to your weight even. But the bigger you are, the more conspicuous. I think you know, and at 412 pounds, I felt like people were looking at me a lot. I don't feel like that anymore. If they're looking at me, it's because they're going, oh, she's pretty. Don't I know her? No, I knew somebody that kind of looked like her, but she's a real big woman. I mean, I don't know what they might be thinking. Actually, a little caveat here. I had a little kid that I know that's a family member, and I haven't seen her probably in maybe 5 months. Trying to think how long. I haven't seen her since October, so October, November, December, January, February. Today is March 1st. I haven't seen her since Halloween time, so 4.5 months. She wouldn't give me a hug because she didn't recognize me. She's 4. I had to show her a picture of myself fat and be like, this is me, see? This is what I looked like before. Remember, I'm a nice lady and you like me. And I was like, can I have a hug now? And she smiled real big. I said, do you recognize me now? And she smiled real big and she gave me a great big hug, and no more, you know. But to her, I look like a completely different person. And, you know, that's kind of cool. That kind of rolls into 36. Others being complimentary of me. A lot of people are starting to tell me, you know, you look good, you look like you know, you're starting to look more like you did in high school. I mean, obviously I'm 40, I'm not going to look like I did in high school. Things are falling south, my face is not, you know, I mean, I'm 40, but, you know, whatever. People are more complimentary of me. Now, my husband has told me I'm beautiful from the time I was a size 4 pageant girl till I was 412 pounds, and, you know, it didn't matter to him. All that's ever mattered to him is that I'm healthy. And I think that's why our marriage will last through this. And I'm, you know, very hopeful we will not be one of those couples that have a high divorce rate related to this. Plus, we've been married for almost 23 years, so next month, you know, I think if we were going to get divorced, bigger things than weight loss were going to break us apart. 37, no more handicap toilet seat. I had to have, ever since my back got messed up, I had to have a special, it was like, you know how they have potty chairs, but this was a wider base. It functioned as a potty chair, it functioned as a chair in the shower, but mainly the purpose I used it for is it was a wide base, and it was ordered extra big and sturdy to accommodate me, and it fit over top of my toilet. And the thing that bothered me about that is the lid of the toilet always had to be up. And I will tell you from what I learned in nursing school and microbiology, you need to shut your lid when you flush your toilet, because lots of germs, specifically E. coli, will get into the air around you, and your toothbrush is not kept that far away. Just think about that next time. So, I didn't like that. But no more handicapped toilet seat. It's actually sitting in my bathroom, which thankfully is pretty good size, needing to find a new home. I can go up and down stairs. I had the hardest time getting in and out of my house. I have like 6 stairs. And only when my knee starts giving me trouble, which it has the past couple days, because I've been doing a lot of being on the floor and getting up and down, does it ever bother me. But I can go up and down stairs. I mean, like a normal person most of the time. I used to have to be like, take 1 step up. All right, now bring the other foot up. And I did this with like a banister on one side of me and a person on the other side of me. If you kind of can catch the seriousness of it. And now it's so much better. Something else I alluded to earlier, 39, I can carry stuff in and out of my house because I'm not off balance and I don't have to do that crazy thing with the stairs anymore. Number 40, my sleep apnea is improving. I may have mentioned this before, but, you know, these should be things that I've mentioned before. I'm thinking once I get under 250, I'll find out from my husband if I'm still seeming to snore. If not, I'm going to go have another sleep apnea test. And maybe, just maybe, I'll be not requiring a CPAP anymore. And I can go camping anywhere I want to and not have to worry about electricity. Number 41, something I've said already this time. I am much more independent in general. I mean, you can tell by everything I've said, I'm much more independent. From, you know, taking care of myself independently and going places independently like a normal person should. 42, I'm starting to recognize my own face again. I'm not all the way there yet, but I can see my features again. Whereas before it was just one big... I mean, I can start to recognize my own features again. I used to have swelling in my legs called edema for a long time, for years. Not lymphedema, which is what you see a lot of people have, like on my 600-pound life, where they have these extra big places that hang off of them, but just general edema, and I don't have it anymore. Number 44. The doctor told me that for every pound I lost, I would take off 4 pounds of pressure off my spine, and I think that's off all my joints, but specifically we're talking about my spine. So, the math on 116 pounds of loss, I believe, excuse me, is 464 pounds of pressure gone off my spine. Number 45, I used to have to go to the doctors like freaking every month. You know, I had to follow up on every condition known to man, it seems like. I mean, not, because I really wasn't sick like that. I didn't have cancer. I didn't have bad things like that. But I had hypertension, diabetes, things like that. I don't have them anymore. So even my bypass doctor, everything, you know, my psych doctor, everybody, I only see them all like every 3 or 4 months. And number 46, my psych meds have decreased in dose a lot and doing well, so that's good. 47, increase in socialization. I mean, there's a difference between socializing, doing this on your phone, talking to people, and getting out and going and seeing them face to face and visiting and being around other people. There is. And definitely have had an increase in socialization. Number 48. I need to start this by saying, even as a big girl, even at my heaviest, I've always been a confident person. I'm just built that way. But I have an increase in my confidence since I have an alarm going off, excuse me. An increase in my confidence because I'm more able to do all of the things I need to do. I'm not afraid I'm going to be like somewhere doing something that I can't do. And I'm feeling like I look better. So of course that's a confidence booster. Number 49, I look better in my clothes. Heck yes, I look better in my clothes. And number 50, I can control my eating and eat much smaller amounts and more healthy than before. I've developed, and I mentioned part of this earlier, a healthier attitude towards food and no longer feel controlled by it. I'm actually learning to love my life again. And I mean that. Every word of it. And I wouldn't trade my tool for anything. And you guys know that I had some pretty miserable times with it. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I saw somebody on the bariatric boards, when I say that I mean the support group online, recently post, what do you regret? What is one regret you have about having your surgery? And I'm going to tell you my regret. Not doing it sooner. That is my only regret, that I did not do it sooner. I could have probably added more years to my life. I could have been feeling better sooner. I could have never developed diabetes. Years of my life were taken away. I don't know if you realize that. Between my heaviness, depression, it all went together, And years of my life were taken away laying in the bed. And I could have been out enjoying my life and doing so much more. So I just want to put that out there. If this is something you're thinking about doing, and I believe everybody has the right to make their own decisions, and there will be a right and a wrong time for you. I personally feel like I wish I had done this sooner. So if that's one bit of advice that I could give to somebody, it would be, don't wait. If you're thinking about it, don't wait. Don't cheat yourself out of something so wonderful. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Don't cheat yourself out of this really wonderful thing. I know this video is very long, so I'm going to conclude here. And I want to say, wherever you are on your journey, I hope you're doing well. I hope